Welcome to today's podcast. I'm Allyson Lewis, your host, and today our guest is Eric Matthews. We're going to be talking about how AI is transforming the landscape not only of business, but of our personal lives. I've been following the importance and impact of ChatGPT for more than a year and a half. And I want you to think that Google was founded in 1998, 26 years ago. And as we look at ourselves, both from a business perspective and just as humans, I want you to think about where we're going to be 26 years from now. So I want to introduce you to Eric Matthews. Eric is my personal business coach. He is a startup founder and entrepreneur. He teaches at a major university in Memphis. Eric, I want to welcome you to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
It is great to be here. And it's great to talk about the transformation in AI with you. You've done a great job of keeping us all abreast of the latest technologies, and these conversations are always so enlightening.
You know, my goal for today is to let people know that AI is going to change the world. And I think we have two choices. We're going to embrace AI, or we're going to embrace AI with more excitement. One of the reasons I wanted to bring you into this conversation is not just on the AI side, but also on the philosophical parts of what AI is going to do to transform our businesses, but also to transform our lives. Can you tell me a little bit about what we talk in our coaching sessions about future self, about how to dig in to your business, but also now the overlay of how AI is going to impact all of that?
Right. I mean, life can be unlived in so many ways. And it's one of my kind of fundamental goals with all my clients is to make sure that we don't leave any life on the table. And a lot of that comes down to kind of beginning with the end in mind. What does your future self look like? What does a great life plan look like? How do you execute against that over the next year, over the next quarter? And how do we even move the goalposts to realize that we can accomplish so much more than we thought was possible? And so that's been the crux of what I've been working on for the past several years and living and coaching on. But now that we get these new amazing tools, it feels like we can move the goalposts even further and even create a richer, more vibrant picture of our futures. For instance, just last week, I was on ChatGPT and I just started kind of going through a visioning exercise by inputting in my life plan into ChatGPT and saying, create through, words, paint me a picture of what my future self would look like in 10 years based upon what you're reading in my life plan. And that kind of further crystallizes and brings greater clarity to your future self. So it's a particularly powerful exercise and even can give you like some bullet points, like given that life vision, hey, what should I be doing over the next, last 8 weeks of this year to make sure that I'm on track for that future? And there you go. It's able to kind of give you a week by week plan of things that you should be thinking about accomplishing across all the spectrum of your rich and vibrant life. So I think it's as we could keep exploring more and more and just kind of like wake up and say, I wonder if it can do this. Well, it can. And that's what is so powerful and interesting about these times is the possibilities and really the potential that's being realized from the tools.
I think that my purpose in life is to help people live a more quality life, to help them re-engage with purpose and passion, to help them understand what true happiness is. And for the last 30 years, I was focusing specifically on time management, which I believe they're two incredibly valuable things that we have in life: time and purpose, being able to bring out that full force. And a lot of people have not been at all surprised as I've gotten more and more interested in the business side of how ChatGPT can make everything faster. My target audience is primarily, which may be surprising, 45 to 70-year-olds. And I think this group has been a little afraid of the ethics of AI, the risk of AI, but also they don't want to get left behind. And they don't realize, it's going to save us a lot of time at work, which I'd like to go into in a bit. But I want you to be very specific. I think people are going to be interested in what did you put into ChatGPT to ask those questions about your future self? How did you iterate with it? What does that mean? What did the conversation physically look like? And what kind of output action did it give you? That fascinates me. I'd like to hear how you did that.
So I just, I started a whole new chat, and my first prompt is, let's do a visioning exercise of my future self. And of course, ChatGPT jumps in and says, absolutely, and said, let's imagine. It already has kind of a bit of a persona around me, so it already kind of knows what I was working on. And that was interesting. Right out of the gate, it says, oh, you're working on, economic development activities, and you're working on next level frameworks for training entrepreneurs. And that's what you're doing in career. And you also have been impacting community by teaching at, Rhodes College and thinking about this. And so I already had like a sense of my contributions and my knowledge and my expertise, which was kind of fascinating right out of the gate. And then I said, asked, what would you like me to emphasize most in this vision? And I said, well, hold up, let me give you my life plan. And so I uploaded my life plan and said, update my future with these notes from the slides. And then it said, okay, now it read each slide line by line, really just all the way through, slide by slide, kind of updating the plan. It says, okay, and I actually asked it to make a reflection on each slide, just so it kind of like internalized it a little bit. Defining my future self, to obituary resume, to visualization of my future. So that's like taking in imagery. That's interesting that, it's taking all this into its thinking about building clarity, et cetera, et cetera. And then I also, inputted some other kind of text, like for my bio and things along those lines, just to give, even more or richer context around this. I'm literally scrolling through this entire chat. And I said, okay, now, prioritize and build some timelines. And that's where it kind of started like going through it. And I said, all right, what would my ideal day look like in this kind of new future self modality? Morning, it's literally, it says morning, power, purpose, and wellness. You wake up early in your beachside home, the sound of waves providing a calm start. You go get some exercise along the shore, It's like literally kind of bringing me into that future and creating and painting this picture. It goes into that kind of the next zone of a mid-morning coaching and strategy session, networking, lunch, and learning from like my Lifeline team, to the afternoon of creating projects, working on creative projects and visioning, evening with family and friends, tapping into the rituals of cooking, and then a night of reflection and unwinding. So I really skated through that really quickly, but it's literally probably 2 pages of content generated on visualizing that. Then I said, hey, make a picture actually using DALL-E that captures the essence of all this, so I can actually see it with my own eyes, with this kind of future. And it kind of created a nice split image of kind of a peaceful beachside kind of home with an office on the other split screen looking out on the ocean kind of thing. And then it literally broke down a 60-day plan to kind of finish out the year, like setting the foundations for progress, work on revamping coaching materials, expand social media presence, plan end-of-year newsletters to target 5 new coaching clients, prepare vision plans for major new ventures, ramp up the content and deployment of that, conduct end-of-year performance reviews, yada, yada, yada. You kind of get how it, and that's actually how it wrapped up, really. But so it was really interesting, targeted, helpful, and quick, honestly, to accomplish all of that, which would normally, I don't even know how long that would have taken me to think through, visualize, write out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you have this companion that's moving at the speed of your fingers, that's really helping me think through, build clarity, vision, things like that in a matter of minutes, which may have taken a full day, honestly, to probably get through, which is crazy.
So let me summarize that, because I think our listeners are going to be surprised that ChatGPT, every time that I am teaching ChatGPT, I want to tell people, don't use the word ChatGPT. I want them to think of this new technology as truly a helpful assistant, someone that is an expert in whatever you're asking them. So just as a recap, Eric, you've been using this technology for well over a year. You were one of the front-end adopters. Had a little hesitation about adopting it, which is something we have to help people get through.
Well,
but once we put it on your phone and your computer, and the easiest way to get started is just, my favorite question when I have people install ChatGPT on their phone or computer, say, hey, how can you help me? And that whole process, I want our listeners to think about it as being a helpful assistant. So let me recap what I think you did. You opened your computer, you fired up ChatGPT, which I call the helpful assistant. You had a desire or a goal for this chat, and that goal was to help you create a 60-day vision for the rest of the year. So I want people to think about, it's almost like you had a life coach sitting right beside you and you started asking questions. It is that easy to go through and just say, I'm interested in creating a life plan. I want you to help me in these areas. I'm not even sure where I want to go. How can you help me? But the crazy part about that is if you put into Google, help me plan my last 60 days, it would do that. It would give you blog posts that you could read about other people. The difference with ChatGPT is it basically understood you. It understood your goals. And rather than reading about someone else's, it output a list of things that you could focus on and a timeline of, hey, here are the next 60 days. I would like to move to another topic. You are a venture capitalist, a startup person. You work with people, you train people. It is surprising to me how few small companies actually are using ChatGPT and AI. And I think part of it is they are so busy, one or two people lifting a whole company. How can someone that is driven, entrepreneurial, how can they start with AI and ChatGPT?
I think my journey is probably maybe a little bit emblematic of that. You feel like there's a learning curve to all this. And when you think about other technologies that we've adopted in the past or tried to implement in the past, you kind of feel like, okay, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. And I got to set time aside for this. And you kind of say, even in our kind of AI meetups, you had the reluctance saying, yeah, I just haven't made time to figure it out. And I think what I'm observing for my own life, and even talking with the reluctant people that have kind of switched over to utilization, is by just starting, you realize, oh wait, this system's already adapting to me, and I don't actually have to learn anything. And then it's just a matter of saying, I wonder if it could do this. I wonder if, like even that visualization exercise, I was like, huh, okay, I wonder if, and it's like, just try it. And you're like, well, yeah, I can. Or here's how it has some limitations, or how I needed to work with it a little bit harder to get to the end result that I'm looking for. But it's kind of like, it's basically our default mode is kind of like, all right, I go to Google and I search for something. And now we were kind of like saying, is there another default mode that's available to us, and kind of building that habit of utilization. So again, like what you said about me is, I put it on my phone. I started utilizing it on my computer, and I just started kind of saying, I wonder if and can this move faster if I just utilize this technology? And the answer is yes. In fact, actually, even this past week, I made 2 press releases in such rapid fashion and with such amazing precision and accuracy that I was like, it was crazy, and saved hours of time, of nice deep writing. And I was like, I was actually just helping some other businesses. I wasn't even doing it. I'm not doing it for myself. Somebody said, hey, I wonder if we can get a press release together on this. I said, absolutely, I'm on it. And I just crank it out literally in a matter of minutes. And it's like, here's your press release. And I did that twice this week. So it's kind of like, I wonder if it can help me get this press release done in like seconds. And so the answer is yes. So I think it's just using that kind of curiosity, I think, to drive your changing of your habits, to saying, let's not go to Google right away or try to have some other mechanism to figure something out. Let's just see if this can actually be done by somebody else quickly, or done by AI quickly.
I love that. And we've known each other probably coming up on 3.5 or 4 years. And the people that are going to be listening to this are entrepreneurs. Maybe they own a small business, maybe they're an entrepreneur where they're inside a company, but they want to be innovative. They want to understand how ChatGPT, I believe a lot of people are at that, hey, I want to learn it, but I don't know where, and I don't even know what it can do. So I'm going to pull back the curtain on both of us. Both of us are entrepreneurs. Are you ready?
Already.
I, I feel people want to have that learning in public, that secret sauce looking over the shoulder. I'm an entrepreneur. I want to grow my business. There is a small team that I work with. There are lots of things that I have to focus on: the finances, the strategic outcomes, the social media, the relationships, the customer monitoring, product development. If there is one thing that I know that ChatGPT does incredibly well, is it acts as a helpful assistant when it comes to marketing. And I know that you're a strategist. If those of you could sit in a room with Eric Matthews, you would be stunned at his philosophy, the undergirding, and the depth of knowledge of what he has to inspire people to be successful in their startups. However, Eric Matthew has also been on a journey of putting out his name. That's part of what we're doing, is that we are expanding. In today's world, I don't think Google SEO is going to be as relevant. I think relationships, I think YouTube, podcasting is going to be incredibly valuable. How are you using ChatGPT to leverage and increase your visibility in a world of AI?
I think as of late, I don't know. I guess I certainly there is. I'm using it in creating some content, as that's more timely. I think that's one thing. Is like there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't publish because I just didn't have time to figure it out and to publish it, even though it's really highly relevant. For instance, the site, our family business celebrated a 50th anniversary this past last week. And it was nice to publish some content on that with a nice picture of the ownership group, my family members, my brothers, and my parents. And it was one of those things where it's like, if I waited, I probably would have missed the sweet window of doing it. And I was like, okay, well, this time I was like, I'm not going to wait. I can't hesitate. I just need to put a brief outline together and then have the content generated by, I think in this case, I used Claude to make a nice little LinkedIn post. I said, I need a LinkedIn post. It's about this topic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the people that are in the picture, left to right. Make me the post, and it's done. Otherwise, and I think that's where I think areas where I would have hesitated for perfection out of my own hands and my own craft, I've been able to outsource and produce faster, and get more word out and highlight more of what is going on in my life from a business perspective, and the milestones and anniversaries and accomplishments. I think that's probably the key thing that's really helping me from getting the word out and building my personal brand.
Okay, so next point is, I believe people have been thinking of this as I need to learn AI and I want to say it's a both and. My passion of helping people re-engage at that deepest level of who am I, who do I want to be, who can I be, how can I live with purpose and meaning. I believe AI is it's an amplifier of giving more time. It's helping me create insights. It's helping me be better at my job. I'm doing a better job of marketing, of pitch decks, of knowing who to market, creating target markets. Your strength, Eric, is having a deep understanding. I guess it's because of that neuropsychology degree you have, cognitive psychology. But I want to know how you think AI as an and both, that it's a technology. But I want you to start with AI is not going to change your life unless you change. So let's put AI on the side for a minute and give us some advice on just that internal growth that you talk about.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm thinking about how do you build a bigger future and how do you take control to manifest that future. And a lot of that comes down to the clarity of the vision that you can create. It's like if we're kept from greatness by a clearer path to a lesser goal. And so what does that mean about the greater goals? Well, if we create a clear, clarified path to greater goals, then we can accomplish them. And we won't be tempted by the clearer path to lesser goals. And so to me, that's why it's important to write things down and to build a thorough plan that has a 10-year vision and a 1-year goal set and a 90-day start and stop, kind of to-do list to get you onto that pathway, because that's a clear path. It gets you on that courageous pathway. So that's, kind of the high level summary of all that. And what we're doing is we're updating our mental models for ourselves. We're updating the software in our minds, updating the filters of our minds to the world to act on our behalf and conspire on behalf of ourselves to accomplish those things, simply because we created that clarity and those filters for ourselves. So kind of, I know where your question is heading is like, all right, well, what do we, now with that in place, what can we do? Well, how can you iterate on the clarity of pathway faster? Well, if you have your companion alongside of you that knows who you are and where you're going and what you're doing and can help you update real time daily, then why wouldn't we iterate faster? And so that goes back into this, the adjustment is the pace at which we can transform, and a realization that these tools can help us do that.
I want to close this out with some excitement and a vision of what I think the future is going to hold. My market is 45 to 75-year-olds. ChatGPT is so simple. If you can download an app from the App Store, if you know how to send a text message, that's all you need to know to get started with what people are calling AI. I want you to think about it as the smartest thing in the world with all of the knowledge in the universe that can help you go from where you are today to where you want to be. I know that there's going to be a huge leap forward in AI. Even over the next year, even over the next 3 months, not only can it help us write, it can help us with data analytics, it can help us with creating strategic plans, building PowerPoint slides, all these things that take up our time, create mental clutter, cause us stress. AI is going to solve so many of those problems. But there's a barrier. For some reason, people are afraid to get started. They're not sure what to do. I want to share that every quarter we get together in Memphis. We've called ourselves the AI crew. There are about 10 to 12 people that get together and we just talk about what are the potentials? What are the opportunities? We have several people that say, oh, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing. I don't believe you can learn or embrace the full impact of AI on our own. I think we're going to have to be part of a group of people that are excited and willing to push the limits, find out what's out there, and then just try it. I love what you say. I wonder if the answer is going to be probably so. Eric, how do you get people to push through that barrier? And what would you say to the people 45 to 70 of what you believe the vision is of the call to action?
I would say that, I'll say this actually. It's if you update your identity, essentially, that's the question here is people really don't think that AI is a part of their identity or that they want it to be a part of their identity. And that's really what the thing is. It's like when you update your identity, then things will change. When you change, things change, right? I think I would help people say, envisioning yourself as a more productive, higher value team member, a higher value family member. I mean, even you've helped people of all ages utilize AI to support them. So the question is, can you update your identity and include AI as part of that identity so that you have more to give to the world? We must grow in order that we have much more to give. And so I think that if that's probably the summary that I would give people is I want them to have more to give. And I think AI will enable and empower you to recapture time and attention or speed up things, et cetera, so that you have more to give to those around you.
I love it. Well, Eric, thanks for being my guest. I want to wrap up today by saying I created 7-Minute AI because I believe what you've heard today requires no tech jargon. You can physically go to the App Store, download the app, and just ask a question of how can you help me? How can you help me get started with ChatGPT? But we are a training, coaching, and consulting company, and information like this is so important. You got to start someplace. And I believe you have to start someplace that is simple, where it's a community of people that want to help, just like the group that meets in Memphis. We cannot do this alone, and we have to do it. And I want to say, since I've started using ChatGPT, it is fun. It is shocking how good it is. It gets to know you. It's going to make your life better, faster, smarter. And so I hope that you will go to 7 Minute AI, that you will subscribe to our newsletter, that you'll get started, because AI is the future. And even though I'm 64 years old, I want to be part of that future. So again, Eric, thanks for being here today. And I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.